So finding tenants, or should I say the right tenants, is key to your property investment journey. You see, 49% of landlords have reported to have had a problem tenant, and I would hate for you guys to be part of that statistic moving forward. So here in this video are some ways to not only find tenants, but also separate the good from the bad. So the first thing you want to do is obviously list it online, which sounds like common sense, right? But don't overlook putting it on literally every social media place. And these places can include Rightmove, Zoopla, Facebook, Gumtree, OpenRent, Spare Room. I have used all of these myself, and I've actually found tenants from all of these places too. The more you advertise it to places where tenants will be, i.e. online, the more chance you have of being approached for somebody wanting to either let your room or your property. Now remember, it's also useful for you guys to know the price at this point as well. So at this stage, I would go out there and get letting agents to maybe quote you on what they feel you could rent out either your room or property for, whilst also checking online portals as well for the going rental rate. And remember guys, those with let agreed on their online portal should give you more certainty that you can get that price too, providing of course you're offering something with similar quality. Now after this, you want to be performing checks on your tenants. Missing this step, guys, is going to increase your risk of having a bad experience, and we don't want that. Ask for references, proof of income, and even a credit report. Now you can use credit companies like Tenant Verify or Experian to conduct credit and identity checks on your behalf if you need to and you don't want to do it yourself. Also, you want to get familiar with the right to rent guide. If you don't adhere to this, you will be subject to fines of up to £3,000. Alongside this, you're also going to need a gas safety certificate and an EICR certificate, and make sure they're up to date. And then of course you need to get your EPC copy ready too. Now those points I just mentioned there will all need to be provided to the tenant when they move in. You can't skip this step, guys. So when you're vetting tenants, the first thing you want to ideally do is meet them. Don't just exchange conversations online. Get to meet them, and if you need to, go with your gut feeling too. Also find out why they're moving and exactly how long they're looking to move for as well. Ideally, references at this point will help you, but don't judge everything on a reference. And here's why. Think about this, guys. If someone had a problem tenant and wanted to get rid of them and push them onto another landlord, i.e. yourselves, they could give a glowing reference, and basically you'll be left with that person. People have done this, so be aware. Also, you want to try and see if you can see them at their place, and this way you can get an idea of how they live. I know it's a little intrusive, but it could save you a lot of heartache in the future. Now let's talk about letting out. You want to ensure that you do an inventory check, and I usually do videos and checklists, and ideally I try and do these with the tenant as well, and then we both sign the paperwork on what we've both seen. Also, you may want to consider an agent too. Now, I will be doing a video on agent versus self-managing as well, so stay tuned for that. But if you aren't feeling like managing a tenant, or you don't want that stress, or you don't have the time, then you will need to consider an agent. Also, you want to protect the deposit. Once they pay a deposit and have agreed the rent in the AST, ensure you protect it under a tenancy deposit scheme or a deposit protection scheme. Now, you can find many of these on government websites too. After this, you want to agree when you're going to be doing your checks, either quarterly, monthly, or worst case, even weekly, if you're still not sure. And the chances are, if you have a problem tenant, you're going to see problems arise much earlier on. So it's always important to get these out of the way and not let a tenant sit there for 6 months without you checking on them. Next up, you may want to get a guarantor as well. If you're still a little bit worried about the tenant, you can request a guarantor to ensure you have someone else who will be legally obligated to pay should they either fail to pay or just decide they simply don't want to. And that does happen. And that, my friends, is a quick run through of some crucial pointers you need to know when letting out tenants. And on that note, my good friends, I want to take this moment to thank you from the bottom of my heart for sticking around when you guys could have been doing anything, but you chose to spend a few moments with me. And that makes you pretty awesome. So until next time, guys, thanks for watching.